come do a live. I just watched a documentary on sleep. Sleep, about to do it now too, in an hour or two. It's 10 p.m. here in the UK, so about to go to sleep too. It's a really important topic, and I think we take it for granted in the health community, sleep as an important topic, because we just become really good at looking after our health, but we forget sometimes that sleep is one of those things that is not only foundational for everybody, but for normal people, the non-woke people, the matrix people, when they're unlikely to do protocols like urine therapy, eating lots of fruit, fasting, even intermittent fasting, all these things are a struggle. One way we can get to them that is a great focus, and it's kind of like something that they're aware of is really important too, but they just don't have the profound insight to do it, is to get some sleep and to improve the quality of the sleep. So let's talk a little bit about, if you're interested in what I was watching in the documentary. First of all, we know that sleep fucks up. Well, here's for starters. Hi, Cass. Here's for starters. Sleep. A lack of sleep causes in the Western world a ridiculous, and even in Asia too, causes a ridiculous amount of accidents. There's two things that cause accidents the most in car accidents, motor accidents. That is sleep. Sleep, a lack of sleep, and alcohol. It's really fucking dangerous to be sleep deprived and go and drive a car. I mean, it's the point now where people are drinking caffeine, lorry drivers are taking caffeine, which is another bullshit substance that again causes lack of sleep, but it's okay, I guess, because it will cause still, it's all bad. It's one reason, these microsleeps that we talk, that they cause a huge amount of accidents all over the world, these microsleeps, because people aren't getting proper sleep, yeah? And it's not hard to prioritize sleep. It's just people get that backwards. It's really, if once people start focusing on sleep, everything changes for the health. We already know this in the health community. You work on your health during the day, you get a good sleep at night. You also need to be aware of a lot of things. We're aware of EMFs being dangerous, turning them off, focusing on melatonin, wearing blue blocking glasses, living in nature. We don't need to worry about blue blocking glasses. I'm looking at a blue screen now. Yes, I know, but I've been wearing blue blocking glasses for a long time. So it's all these little things, but with the matrix people, to get better sleep, there's things that we can focus on them, like exercising during the day, for starters. That's really important. Doing intermittent fasting and bringing awareness to people of, okay, they're probably not going to do like a 1-2 day fast of 24 hours without eating any food. I mean, that's ridiculous to most people. But what they can do is the feeding window, for sure. Then you'll give up their fasting hours, will produce less mucus and give them better sleep. And that's tied in with snoring too. I mean, I can talk about this subject forever, guys. I don't want to bore you too much. Snoring is a huge problem too, because that fucks up people's sleep. So pretty much everyone is snoring in the Matrix world. And even sometimes I catch myself when I've not been doing my age urine protocol. Sometimes I will have a blocked nose. I'm checking at night now to see how blocked my nose are, and it's shocking how much it varies. If I eat something shit, I block it straight away. But these Matrix people that we know and love, just our family and friends and most people out there, they're snoring, they've got blocked noses, they're eating mucus-forming foods, and then they're not fasting it out, they're not doing protocols like distilled water, urine therapy, anything, or any kind of waters or anything to remove the mucus out, and that creates problems of snoring, which is going to stop super deep sleep, right? So we've got all kinds of problems. We've got microsleep that causes, lack of sleep that causes accidents, we've got people snoring that just fucks up your health. Obesity linked in with, two, the fatter you are, the more likely you are to snore. And I'll tell you one thing I found really interesting in that documentary too. There was a subject there that had night terrors, and they patched him up with ECG and put videos on why he's getting night terrors, and video cameras, right? And having it for the longest time. And then what they found was really interesting. What they found was that just before he had the night terror and he woke up and he's like, whoa, what triggered them was his legs started shaking. So that's a condition the doctors call motor, I can't remember what it's called, motor disorder, but the point is that night terror was caused by movement of the legs. They shouldn't be moving because the body's supposed to be immobile at night time, right? The muscle's supposed to relax. But in this gentleman, his legs were shaking, and apparently whenever he went into deep sleep, his legs would shake, and then it shakes so much at certain points of sleep that the legs shook. That tells the brain, shit, there's something wrong. It's like a flight system. That's why when we get called, someone calls your name, You don't proper truly sleep. You kind of can get woken up from sleep if someone calls your name or if there's a big bang, because it's your body protecting you. You've got like a fight or flight thing. But his fight or flight was kicking in, and you'll be interested to know why in a second. But anyway, what was triggering it is that his legs were, as soon as he hit deep sleep, his legs would just start shaking a little bit, and that would tell his brain, shit, fight or flight, something's wrong, caveman time, something's wrong, and it will give him a night terror. Now, what they say, it might be, what they say is it's a lack of dopamine, right? A lack of dopamine. We know dopamine is really important. Why do people have lack of dopamine is my questions, and probably yours too, guys. Why would that be? Probably because he's not doing healthy things like getting lots of sunlight. That's really important for dopamine. Getting lots of exercise, fasting, grounding, sunlight, and living against nature. Probably staring at blue screens all day. Probably, let me see, I don't know, watching porn too and all that crap. And having dopamine resistance. It's not even about lack of dopamine. It's about dopamine resistance too. How's dopamine resistance coming? Well, I don't know, maybe snacking all day, eating bullshit. Maybe it's causing dopamine resistance. Maybe just doing the Matrix thing makes you I forget how different we live our lifestyles compared to the Matrix people. So this documentary was a nice reminder of all the things. You'd be interested to know his conclusion though. This is a professional documentary, and the doctor was telling him that he needs to take drugs to increase his dopamine levels, and he went to the drugs, and he told the doctor, and I could see in the documentary, he said, it didn't work, I had loads of side effects. So the doctor's like, okay, let me give you some more, let me try out these ones. And the conclusion of that was, he's going to try out more drugs to fix the problem of lack of dopamine. Holy shit. That's like, apparently it's Parkinson's too, might be, I don't know what Parkinson's is, but it might be a lack of dopamine, and what do they do with that? They just give them more drugs. It's insane. But anyway, that's off topic. Lack of dopamine can be fixed fucking easily by taking care of your health. Night terrors, if that's the only reason for night terrors, even if it's just one reason, that this leg problem, this motor neuron problem when you're supposed to keep still, this could all be solutions which we offer, not what the doctors offer. Because what doctors offer, what I heard from that doctor to that guy was absolute bullshit. All he was saying was drugs and get more sleep. And yeah, it's a huge problem. Another thing is sleep is if you prioritize when the lights go out and go to bed early and wake up early, that would massively transform. I mean, say it was a Matrix person and they didn't want to do anything that you ever suggested, intermittent fasting, cutting out alcohol, cutting out more exercise. If they did one thing, go to bed early and wake up early, boom, change. Benjamin Franklin quote, isn't it? Like from the olden times. What is it? Early to bed, early to rise, makes a man healthy, strong and wise. How fucking true. Because you're in line with circadian rhythms. What you're doing there, you're just making more melatonin, more hormones resetting. You're in line with nature. When you're in line with nature, you get fucking healthy. When you don't, you're fucked. Yeah, simply I'm fucked. Just trying to think what I put in the header. So we've got covered micro-sleeping. It's fucking dangerous. It was wonderful to watch. Like, we all know this. Reaction times slow down when you're sleep deprived. And most people are walking around sleep deprived state. Your brain just shuts down. Your whole body shuts down. Lack of energy. One thing I was watching, they were doing an experiment with put 3 people in the house for 36 hours with no sleep. They were forced to stay up 36 hours, and there was loads of interesting things there. They were lack of energy. And also I noticed something interesting. They were talking. They kind of put out. They were talking about sleep too. The conversation chat between them, these 4 teenagers, went down because they were sleep deprived. 28 hours in, so they were just talking about sleep all the time. And also, sleep makes you fucking selfish. If I lack of sleep, I become selfish. We all do. Our brain stops working properly, and now we become like all about me. That's the worst, man. I'm already too much me. We're already too much in that. That's why we evolve. We want to become better people. We don't want to focus too much on ourselves and we want it to give to other people, because we're so full with our health protocols and good sleep and good nutrition, good fucking everything, and it just makes you selfish. Sleep makes you selfish, yeah? Stress makes you stupid, and sleep makes you fucking selfish. And not sleeping properly. You're worst. You're absolute fucking worst of the avatar. And I think it's important to talk about this because I've forgotten this stuff, guys, and we forget about it because I don't get exposed to this kind of shit that I have to see on TV. No, I enjoyed it. It's a great documentary. It's a reminder. You know, one of the first things I learned before I even got into physical health was sleep. I was always obsessed with it. I still am, actually. It's just I really nailed it. Meditation that's amazing before sleep, and especially transcendental meditation. If I do that in the daytime, the 2 times 20 that's deeper rest than sleep. 2 to 5 times deeper than sleep. Yes, it is. Why? Because it lowers the metabolic rate way more. Oh, did you know this? The metabolic rate goes down. The maximum metabolic rate goes down 8% lower than normal, 5 hours into sleep. So it kind of goes down a little bit. So 1, 2, 3% below normal, 4%, and it builds to its peak 5 hours before sleep. A metabolic rate, being lower rate of oxygen consumption, goes down to 8% maximum 5 hours in. Now, transcendental meditation, 20-minute session, takes the metabolic rate down 10 to 20%. That's higher than sleep can ever go. In other words, it lowers the metabolic rate, the rate which you consume oxygen, aka you're going to live longer when you lower the rate more than sleep. That's one of the reasons why we say it's 2 to 5 times deeper than sleep. Yes, sir. I'm not talking about meditation generally, I'm talking about specifically meditation, because transcendental meditation is different to other types of meditation. There's lots of different types. Yeah, that's one thing I'm going to get into too, is like people talk about meditation's all good, but it's like saying, well, what I do, exercise. Cool, what exercise do you do? There's a different types of exercise, there's different types of meditation too. Yeah, so, yeah. Dopamine, yeah. Alright, okay, I don't know, I could talk forever, I don't want to get too lost. I did the Microsleeps, I done the night terrors with that guy, was very interesting. There was a lady there that was cutting out alcohol, she was snoring, and so the solution for the doctors was to cut out alcohol, which is good, and to exercise more. There was no mention, I thought, there's no mention of, you know, try and do intermittent fasting, or even like give them a few hours of break from food and stuff. That would have been way more powerful, I think, you know, to really clear the mucus out from her nose. But she lost a lot of weight too, which is good. So if you lose weight, you'll get better sleep too. But sleep in a dark room. Really focus and do not look at blue screens just before bed. If you can. I only come on here just to do this for you. I don't normally do this. Well, sometimes, but you know. I built up my melatonin by wearing my blue blockers. I had the Wi-Fi off from the times after sunrise, so I was wearing those for a couple of hours with the Wi-Fi off. And how do you know the melatonin's kicking in? You get more tired, you start shivering, and then you know. And melatonin too lowers the metabolic rate, and anything that makes you cold lowers your metabolic rate. So that's why we put blankets on when we sleep, because the body's metabolic rate is going down, like I said, to 8% maximum, and it starts going from 0% to 5 to 8. And transcendental meditation definitely makes you tired. It makes you cold. I always get cold on transcendental, so I will wear a jumper or something. I won't be cold in the UK here. So yeah, it's crazy. Anything lowers metabolic rate will provide rest, but keep you cold. So be warned on that one. Huge topic. Huge. Right, there we go. Alright guys, on that note, I hope you enjoyed the video, and let's knock ourselves out and have a wonderful blissed out sleep. And yeah, remember that's the way to the matrix, the way to help people. There's many avenues of what we can teach. You work with people where they're at and what they're ready for, and one of them that people know is important. Everybody knows this, and it's because it's so powerful. It's really foundational. You can't do much without good sleep. It's the foundation we take granted. The way to get to them is the sleep thing. That's the one, you know, and then just give them advice on, you know, less alcohol, more exercise, hot bath if they're going to do that shit for bed. Definitely transcendental. When I was watching, I was thinking to the guy that had night terrors and needed to increase his dopamine levels because of the leg thing. I thought, wow, if you did a transcendental meditation, which majorly boosts your dopamine levels, meditation generally does, transcendental, you get blissed out on dopamine, kicks in after like a minute, and it just keeps going through your body in the 20-minute session. Like, I'm not kidding you, something's inside the body. Is it serotonin, is it dopamine, is it beta endorphins, is it a combination of all three when I'm doing transcendental meditation? I don't know. I can feel it. It's something's flooding my system, some kind of awesome hormone. And that could well easily fucking tackle this guy's problems. And it's so easy to do too. Had to slip transcendental meditation in. But it's true though, it's true. It's changed my sleep because it's deeper than sleep. It's another state of consciousness, isn't it? Like, it's gonna be different. Alright. Yep, flat earth, definitely. Yeah, it is, but I shouldn't talk about that. We're sticking to sleep. Yeah, I agree, bro. It's kind of important too. It's just, I won't promote it, even though I believe in that, because it puts people off the health mission. You know, and the shape is important too. It's just not my mission at the moment, even though I do believe that true. It is flat, so yeah. Alright, peace, rock and roll, and get yourselves to early bed. The greatest piece of advice you could ever give someone, just before I leave, I repeat, in terms of sleep, is early to bed, early to rise. Makes a man strong, healthy, and wise. So get the fuck to bed early. What they say? There's an old ancient tradition, like say the 2 hours before midnight is worth double the hours after midnight. So that 10 p.m., 9 p.m. time is fucking magic. Fucking magic. If you get to bed by 10 p.m. every night. Yeah, if you get to bed by 12, 1, big trouble. Get to bed by 9, 10, and let the magic. Plus, you've also got the sunrise therapy to think about, waking up at sunset. So that's another whole subject, which I talk enough about. Red light therapy, one of the most powerful health protocols of them all. An advantage to going to bed early, aside from the fact you're going to make more melatonin, which is awesome. And being live in nature is you get to wake up at sunrise, and then the red light kicks in, and you can go even open a window, go outside, and fucking the magic of the red light wakes you the fuck up. Yeah, and I even go back to bed too. I get up at sunrise and I go back to bed for an hour or something, depending on how tired I am. So I just try and sleep and I don't. So yeah. Oh, and so yes, medications if we can. We've got to move people off as many medications as possible because they cause so much problems. There is virtually no good medications out there. Virtually no. I'm open-minded, and I've heard stories that some people say some meds are good. Not that I'm going to try them, but you know, it's the wrong mindset. It's a pill-popping mindset, whereas you're going against your body, and it does cause a lot of problems. It seems that's why they put listings of like 100 different problems. They have to, in case of you come up with shit that's gone wrong. So there we go. There we go. Our research that made me. No, it's that knowing the truth does make you feel better at night. So that's true as well. All right, peace.